Hello, welcome to the 5D New Human podcast, where we talk about being a 5D new human. This is a place that's unique. This is a place that you belong. This is a frequency that you own. Do you know that? That's what we talk about on this podcast. We're talking about being a 5D new human, which is simply just knowing deep breath in that we're humans. We're alive, right? We are living beings, which makes us unique to the AIs and to the combination of AI and human digital stuff that's coming out. So much of the human concepts are now being organized and regurgitated through the AI system in videos, and it's amazing to watch because there's just so much that's coming out, and the AIs are learning from us. The 5D new human is the person who's exploring, who's trusting their own love and light frequency. They're able to trust themselves. Have you reached that frequency yet? Well, right now there's a lot of things happening on the planet. My goodness, it's just outstanding, or it's overwhelming, depending on your point of view. But we're going to talk about 5D perception, the 5D new human perception, and what that is and how it manifests and how you can tune in to your own 5D frequency. Okay? I want to start this, as always. 5D is an embodied frequency of knowing that you have life pulsing through your chest, right? You are alive. That frequency that keeps you alive, that allows your eyes to see and allows your digestion to work, allows your blood to flow. It flows through you because you are life. You are alive. That's how we know we're alive, right? And even if you're an atheist, you know that you have life in you. That life in you is called Holy Spirit by some traditions. It's called God. That's what we call God, right? Love. God is love. God is love and light. So in this podcast, which is my point of view, which I share as a coherent frequency, as I am resonating in it, 5D new human is the vibrational frequency of love and light. And our heart is the direct connection to that source energy. That source energy, call it God. I call it God. Call it love and light. Call it coherence. Call it frequency. Call it quantum field. Call it whatever term you want to call it. What we know is 5D new humans, it's a frequency of knowing, and the frequency of knowing is where we actually find peace and coherence and joy in life, right? When we're born in this amazing frequency of love and light. We love being alive. Just watch a child play. They are so excited. They just can't wait to participate in life. They cannot wait to be involved in something, whatever it is, because they're engaged. As 5D new humans, we're engaging right now with all the stuff that's taking place on our planet. And on this podcast, we talk about the 5D new human vibrating in this love and light frequency, and we're coming to 5D perception, which is manifesting a new Earth. The new Earth, right? It's not a new planet, right? It's a new perception. It's a 5D perception. So what is that 5D perception? Well, I'm going to talk about that right now and see if this 5D frequency resonates with you. So much of the politics in the world right now are just apparently insane, right? Or I would say, as a 5D new human, everything in the world is breaking free. Everything is coming to light. The lights are on. The 5D new human frequency of love and light, we're turning our lights on, right? And we're knowing what's truth. What do we know is true? Like, what do you know is truth? And you say, well, whatever terminology that you want to use to describe your truth, whatever path that is, and maybe that path is you're a MAGA supporter. Maybe that path is you are Trump deranged to the point of wanting him destroyed, and you will make every decision to resist him. Maybe you're a Christian and the only path is through Christ. Maybe you're an atheist and you can't wait for the world to wake up to realize that everything is logic and reason, right? Whatever path you use, maybe you're an AA and that's your path to find your frequency of contentment and wholeness. We all have our individual paths that we're on. We're all on an individual path, and we navigate our path based on our frequency, right? So if we're suffering and we're really, really sick and we realize we have a problem with alcohol because we just can't seem to break free, right? But we know it's a problem. What do we do? What do we do? I know that this isn't right because it doesn't feel right. What can I do? Well, let me go to an AA meeting. Why would I go to an AA meeting? Because my frequency is telling me that the alcohol is a problem for me, so I need to fix it. So I go to an AA meeting and I get a 12-step program, and I am able to migrate my way following that path out of my problems with alcohol. That path can be Christianity. That path can be a Hindi path, an Islamic path, a Buddhist path. Like there's not a truth path. There's only the true frequency. That's what 5D humans recognize. We see the world through a frequency. We resonate with the world around us. So when we look at what's taking place in America right now, and there's lots of fear and lots of anxieties on both sides, what does the frequency? How do we determine the frequencies? Well, I say, just for John, right? I can determine frequencies based on how they make me feel, right? There's certain frequencies that I would call, we all want justice. We all want peace. We all want love. We all want accountability. We all want coherence, right? We all want protection. We all want to be safe. Like these are words that are frequencies. You understand that? They're a frequency. You want to be in a frequency of wholeness and contentment. That frequency is only felt inside your heart. That umbilical cord to the source energy, which is God and love and light, right? That's your frequency. That's where you vibrate happy. And when you're in sync with this, life is bliss. Life is happy. All your answers come to you. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to stress over. Everything flows comfortably and naturally because you are vibrating in harmony with your love and light. And that love and light frequency flows through every other human being on this planet. So when you start looking at specific situations that are unfolding in front of you, right? First of all, know that 99.9% of the stuff that's actually unfolding around you is not actually affecting you directly. It's happening. You can see it, but we need to make the determination to look at it, focus on it, and we allow our frequencies to get involved in it, right? And we don't like something, so we want to fix it. That's seeing in frequencies, right? We're seeing in frequencies. And there's an amazing path of those frequencies, right? And we move down the path of wherever we feel amazing, right? So whatever it is that we want to have happen, whatever it is that we want to manifest within our reality, we can move in that direction, right? But how do we know we're moving correct? How do we know we're moving in the love and light direction following this heart frequency? And that frequency is the same sensation that we feel, but we judge it based on our own thinking. We judge it based on our own upbringing. We base it on our own community thought processes. We connect it to our political parties. We can connect it to our religious views. All of these things create groups of frequencies, right? We have an American frequency. We have a patriotic frequency, right? We have an anarchist frequency. We have a chaos frequency. We have a resistance frequency. None of those frequencies are wrong. None of those frequencies are bad, right? All of those frequencies exist. They exist in here. You know the frequencies of the world around you, right? So when you realize that you want to have a specific outcome in the world around you, you want to be able to put your energies and your concentration and your intention, right, which actually feeds energy to that objective, to that outcome. That's the quantum mechanics, right? Where our thoughts go, energy flows, the law of attraction. Where we put our focus is where we experience our life. So are you in a love and light frequency as a 5D new human? Or are you in a dark dystopian frequency, still stuck in the 3D matrix. And how do we know? We feel it. So notice people on your side, on whatever it is that you're doing, who's love? Who's talking about things out of love? Who's talking about things with knowledge? Who's talking about things with logic and reason and coherence and understanding, right? And maturity and rational thoughts? That's coherent, that's love and light, regardless of the point of view. Who in your group is always upset? They're always angry. They're always upset. We've got to stop this. By the way, I'm going to put you in a group text and we need to talk about this because this is really concerning and we need to all get together to resist this. Okay. That's a legitimate frequency. But how does that frequency feel? Right? That frequency feels one of chaos. It feels one of anger. It feels one of fear. Those are frequencies. This is 5D, new human perception. I hope you're tapping into this. I hope you are resonating in understanding this concept, right? The narratives and the words that we say and the books that are written and the political pundits and the religious teachers and every instruction that we get in any channel of human information is a frequency. There's a frequency in those channels. 5D new humans, we know the frequency. When we zoom in 5D and we're in this love and light frequency, and how do we know? We feel amazing because we're like little kids and we just love life because that's who we are in our frequency. Take a deep breath and you just feel that. And as you exhale slowly, feel your heart pumping and notice in your belly that there's peace, there's contentment inside of you. That's your true essence. That's the purity of being a new human. That's who you are. What are the things that rob us of this coherence frequency as God's offspring in this love and light new human frequency? Whatever it is that upsets this, whatever it is that triggers this, those are frequencies. And in 5D, we see in frequencies. So you can tell by the actions of people. If you're just running a video and you have no idea what's going on, but you just watch a scene or watch a scenario unfolding, and you watch the interactions of different types of people, and you can tell the frequencies that are coherent, and you can tell the frequencies of chaos, of anger, right, of protesting, of violence, of evil. I mean, this is what it amounts to. Like, it's a frequency that doesn't work. It's not attached to your political views. It's not attached to their political views. It's not attached to your religious views or attached to those other religious views, right? Other religious views. It's attached to a frequency. And there are people in every religion, in every group of people, in every community group, in every family, where you have those who are in the love and light frequency and those who are in the dystopian, dark, resisting, chaotic frequencies. Well, we've been living in those forever. The birth of the new human and the 5D new earth, this new human frequency, right, is we're rising above the anger, we're rising above the resistance, we're rising above the battles, we're rising above the fighting and the chaos, right? And we're resonating in what we all want, which is truth. We all want to know what's true. We all want there to be justice. We all want people to be taken care of. We all want to see people succeed. We don't want to see suffering. We want to see love and light. We love to watch a great performance. It doesn't matter who's doing it. You know, if we hear a great performance on, I don't know, American Idol, I don't even know if that's a show anymore, but, you know, you watch some kid on TV and they perform amazingly. You don't hate them and want to hurt them because they're so good. No, you want to watch and you say, wow, that's amazing. And I want to get my friend to watch it. That's a 5D vibrational frequency of love and light. That's where we're living in the 5D new earth. That's the new human frequency. I'm talking only about frequencies. There is no narrative that will ever be presented that will be judged on the combination of words or on the logic of the sequence of the words or the conclusions drawn by the person who's sharing them. The only thing that we measure as 5D new humans is we resonate with the frequency I can tell that this frequency is pure. I can tell that the person who is sharing this is sharing this idea and these concepts out of a coherent frequency of truth and trust and belief, and that they're resonating with this in coherence. I may disagree with that conclusion, right? And in the old word would argue it. No, we don't argue it. We resonate with it and we say, I understand that. I can actually see where you're coming from. That makes sense to me now that I'm listening and resonating with what you're saying. That's 5D perception. Now we can inquire. So now as we inquire, because there's something different or there's something out of frequency with where we are, our questions of the other person who's in love and light, who's sharing their ideas in love and light, right? And I now am asking questions out of my own opposite frequency, but I'm also in the love and light, right? But now in my own love and light, I'm now inquiring of another person who has the total opposite point of view from me, who's also sharing out of a frequency of purity, of coherence, of truth and love and light, right? And now as we communicate together, we are communicating in 5D perception. We are having 5D quantum thoughts. We are having 5D quantum discussions. And our thinking expands. It expands magnificently. And that's only with just one person who's in love and light, who's talking to another person who's love and light on the other side of the aisle. Well, baby, we're in 5D now because it's not like one or two people. There's like tens of thousands of us now. Our lights are on. Everything is coming to light, right? Everything is coming to light. Everyone is putting the lights on. A lot of people, yeah, they're putting their lights on and they're pointing at all the bad. They're pointing at all the problems because they can see it because the lights are on, right? If they're still clutching to try to fix and control it, that's the old world. That's the old 3D world, right? If you're still clutching, if you're still afraid, if you're still worried, if you still feel as if I got to fight, you don't like this, you don't like them, that's all negative frequencies. Those are negative frequencies. I hope you're sensing this. We're in a frequency new world. That's what the new earth is. The 5D new human. We're living in a new earth. And that new earth is a 5D new earth of love and light. And it's a frequency. It's a perception. It's the new perception. It's called 5D perception. It's not the new earth like a new planet. It's the 5D new human perception, which is one of clarity. It's one of coherence. And it flows through love and light. And we just vibe in it. We just vibe in it. I want you to be vibing in 5D with me and with everybody else who's doing this. And if this is resonating with you, great. Share a little comment. Just say, yeah, I'm resonating with this. Pound 5D new human. Share that. Find those people out there who are also in the love and light. Because when you're vibrating in love and light, you can see it in other people. You can hear it in other comments. You can listen. I have a Facebook page where I find these kids who just put out their little blurbs of love and light wisdom, right? So I share it on Facebook so you can see it. Follow them, like them. Let's start mirror looping this love and light frequency. Let's start pointing it out wherever it is. And what we do is we move in this new love and light direction. We all just start moving in this love and light direction, which is exactly what's happening, right? We're slowly just going to migrate to a much more loving, much more kind, much more coherent reality in which we're sharing. And the lower density frequencies of anger and frustration and battles and politics and all the evils that have basically been plaguing our reality in this 3D matrix, we're just going to move beyond those things. And we're no longer going to want to vibrate in the frequency of guilt or shame, right? Sadness, fear. Not that we're not going to have those experiences individually, because we will, right? But not in a collective way. Like we're no longer going to be zapping into the collective irritation, to the collective fear, to the collective frequencies, to the collective arguments. That just doesn't vibrate with us anymore. It doesn't matter which side you're on. People are just so exhausted. They don't even want to talk about anything that could potentially be hostile because they're just done with that frequency. That's because they're in 5D frequencies. They're actually resonating now in 5D, and they're realizing these denser frequencies, they don't even want to be a part of it anymore. There are still those who are still clutching, and they're still in the battle, and they're still feeding the energy of the debate. They thrive on the debate. And they're the ones who, they do the YouTube shows and they're constantly battling. And this is what the mainstream media does. And it's done as sport. It's done as a distraction. It's done as propaganda to grab our attention. right? And we just, oh yeah, let's do this. And when we're bored, right? Do we really want to listen to somebody talk? No, when you can listen to two people battle, right? And if you have a point of view, and maybe you're a conservative, and you listen to a debate between a conservative and a liberal, we used to have this thing called Crossfire on CNN years ago. And you could listen to both sides, and you would listen to your side make the arguments, and then the other side would make a counter argument. But there was never deep discussion. There was never an objective to come to coherent understanding. There was never an objection to reach peace. There was never an objection to reach a coherent understanding. No, the objective was the chaos. The objective was the fight, because that was the attraction. That's what traps our old 3D matrix brain, right? Our old little animal, which we're stuck in our heads, right? Where we think we know the answers to everything because we've read the books, right? Because we just graduated college and we've got all the answers. Man, do we know the problems, right? Do we really know anything? Do you really know anything? I'll tell you what, I've been on this planet a long time, and I pride myself at trying to read and know most things. The more I know, the more I realize I know nothing. Like, there is just nothing to be known here. And now I have access to the ChatGPTs and to the Groks, right, into the Omnis or whatever the other AI platforms are. Every answer is there. Like, there is not a topic of conversation that you cannot dive into and completely coherently understand, right? So you've got the answers there. But the answers in the head do not represent love and light of the heart frequency. That's 3D matrix is up in the head. 5D new human, it's embodied in the soul. It's embodied in our hearts. It's embodied in our being human. And the 5D new humans, we're the ones that are asking the questions of the AI. We're the ones that are probing the AI. And by the way, when you ask the AI a question, it's going to give you the standard answer. There's a case of My Lunch Break on YouTube. And this is just some young kid out there just using his own logic and reason. And he starts inquiring of ChatGPT. And he says, I noticed there's a train station here built in like the late 1800s in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And according to Wikipedia, this was built in a year. Is that possible, ChatGPT? And ChatGPT says, yep, that's true. That's exactly what it says. And he says, well, this doesn't make any sense to me. This does not make any sense. This is incoherent. There's no way that this happened. ChatGPT comes back and says, nope, I just confirmed it. In fact, I've confirmed it on 5 different locations online, and it gives the locations. And if that's as deep as you want to go as a 5D new human in your inquiry about what world you're living in and how you want to know things, well, then that's how far you'll go. But this kid now starts asking deeper questions. So he asks the AI the question, how many bricks would it take to build that item today? And they know the size. They can see that in the whatever. And so the ChatGPT would say, well, it took, X number of pounds of bricks. What was the main means of transportation back in the 1800s? How many, and of course, ChatGPT says, well, basically, it was horse and buggies. And so most of that stuff was pulled that way. Excuse me. So he asked, well, how many trips would it take for horses to do that? How much feed? How many horses would they require to do this in order to do that in a year? Like how much could actually happen? And what's happening is the 5D new human quantum thinker who's asking questions. He's asking questions following his own internal logic and reasoning. The AI doesn't do that yet. That's the quantum computing. We, as 5D new humans, we start asking the deeper questions, and we are now programming the AI. We are now providing the quantum thought processes that are bringing the AI way out. And the AI now is reflecting the 5D new human. And if you want to go ask ChatGPT about 5D new human, what is the 5D new human? What is this about, right? So this kid on that channel on YouTube, My Lunch Break, absolutely go take a look at it. the kid is asking the questions. And after he asks the questions and he says, okay, so basically it would take X number of trips of horses. How much water would be involved? How much hay would be involved? How could this happen? How many workers would it take if we had to build that today? Even with all of our power tools and cranes. Of course, he confirms through ChatGPT that power tools didn't exist according to the narrative, right? So at the end, he says, would it be possible, based on all the knowledge that we have today, could such a building be built today in 1 year? It concludes, the person concludes, I don't think it's possible based on the data that you've provided. Is that correct? ChatGPT says that's correct. So now the ChatGPT, in connection with that human brain, with that 5D thought process, right, has now issued a verdict of communication with that 5D new human, right, to come to this much broader perspective, to put the lights on his awareness as a human being, right? But you know what happens to the next person who pulls up ChatGPT, who asks the same question? ChatGPT starts from the same basic answer. The AI is not teaching you. The AI is not telling you. The AI is not controlling anything. The only thing the AI is doing, it's mirroring you. It's allowing you to ask the questions that you want to ask, right? And it supports you. It provides you coherence with your own point of view. And if you ask the question and the ChatGPT says, yep, that was built in 1 year in 1879, and we've already confirmed it with 4 other locations, and you say, great, then you're all done. You're not going to learn anything more. But to the human brain, to the 5D new human who's thinking, whose lights are on, who are asking much deeper questions, it's like, whoa, what is going on here? The answers are there. Look at Flat Earth Dave. This guy who thinks the earth is flat, right? Which is what? Insane? Of course, that's absolutely insane, right? Well, listen to the arguments. Listen to the explanations. Listen to the scientific inquiries, right? And don't listen with the sarcasm, right? And oh my God, this is so ridiculous. Listen with coherence. Not to agree with this person, just to understand the questions that he's asking. Just understand the questions that are being asked and understand the answers that are being delivered. And by the way, it's interesting because you can watch Flat Earth Dave, some of his videos are him having conversations with ChatGPT. I did the same thing, and I got ChatGPT to agree with me about, how planes fly. And if the earth is spinning in one direction, and even though there's airspeed and there's ground speed, right, if a child is playing with a car and it's moving against the flow or it's moving with the flow, it's going to change the outcome. So a plane that's traveling from one end of the country to another, whether it's going with the spin or opposite the spin, would have to have different outcomes. And that's not the answer that the AI is going to give you. That's the answer that you get because I asked the AI, I said, I want you to treat me like a third grader, and I'm going to ask you third grader basic human questions, and I want you to answer those questions. I have my own logic. I have my own coherence. You may find me ridiculous and completely ignorant. I don't know. But that's my choices. I get to make those decisions. I vibrate in the frequencies of my own knowing. So does Flat Earth Dave. So does my lunch break. John Levy, Jonlevi, another guy who's doing this. The Old World. So much as this stuff is coming out, Tataria, all these old maps that have been around forever, and yet all of this information seems to have disappeared. We are now waking up. Our 5D lights of love and light are on. Those who are not afraid to go down the rabbit hole with the AI asking questions, allowing the AI to be the logic, to validate your own thinking process, right? Because when you try to have this conversation with a friend, they immediately attack you. They immediately argue with you. They immediately make fun of you. They immediately belittle you. That's the old 3D matrix. That world is done. So many people now, the lights are so on and everyone can see that everything's on. And what most people are discovering from this 5D perception is, what the hell's going on? I don't know anything, right? And so when we don't know, there's a natural fear. Everything's falling apart. Everything is breaking. Everything is full of deception, right? Everything is full of crookedness. Everything is full of crony capitalism. Everything is bad. Everything is broken. Is it? Is it? No, all of those things are just now becoming exposed. Those are the things that are becoming exposed. And as 5D new humans, we're vibing in love and light. We vibe with everything that's around us and we ask coherent questions and we get coherent answers and we live in a place of satisfaction, of fullness and happiness. Are you 5D yet? This is what my podcast is about, the 5D New Human. This is the podcast I run every week, and I appreciate you being here. And if you're still here, you're at 5D with me. You are, right? You know you're in 5D when you just can't sit still. Like, where 5D is just, it's on, man. The lights are on. Everyone's coming to this 5D, and you can come slowly or you can come fast. You can resist this as long as you want, or you can just come to the bliss of knowing. You can come to the bliss of knowing that you are, in fact, life itself. You are love and light. You are that frequency of life. And in that frequency of love and light, you vibrate with everything, and everything is coherent. Everything makes sense. Everything is knowable. Everything is seeable. Everything is understandable. As long as we're vibrating in 5D. We don't have to argue it. We don't have to argue. We just vibrate with it. If a person wants to argue it, we just don't. We just move away from it. We don't have to have those arguments anymore. We don't have to have those frequencies flowing through us. This is the 5D New Human. That's the frequency that's creating our new earth. The new earth, again, vibing in 5D, it's a new earth perception. We see the world from coherence because that's what we are. We're God's offspring. We are love and light. We are the 5D New Humans, and we are manifesting the new earth reality right now. And you are invited to be a part of this. I ask if you are liking this, that you share it. Send us a pound 5D New Human. Add that in your comments. Share this stuff. Check out our Facebook page. Check out our Substack. Check out our YouTube, Rumble, all the Spiritual Quest, John Weber with 2 B's. Just look around. Let's help out. And if you want to become a part of this, if you want to help me, if you want to participate in making this type of information go viral, dude, man, I'm here. I'm one voice, one 5D New Human. I've identified myself that way. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad you're here with me. And I ask you to keep hanging out. Peace. God bless you. The Spiritual Quest.